Hey everyone, I'm back with another deep dive as we continue watching this incredible series at 0.25x speed. Today I'm breaking down one of the most iconic fights in Hunter x Hunter, Chrollo versus the Zoldycks. Trust me, this battle is packed with its own share of mind-blowing details you don't want to miss. After an intense first exchange showcasing the Zoldycks' incredible teamwork, Zeno lands a powerful Nen blast on Chrollo. When Chrollo raises his arm to block the attack, his sleeve gets torn. But here's the detail that most people miss. When Silva swoops down from above, if you watch closely, and I mean really closely, like 0.1x speed, you can actually see Chrollo's suit getting caught under Silva's foot, which contributes to the tear. It's a split-second detail that also shows just how narrowly Chrollo managed to dodge Silva's devastating attack. The precision in this scene is unreal. Right after narrowly dodging Silva's attack, Chrollo immediately counters, trying to catch Silva off guard with a sudden knife strike. But here's where it gets really interesting. Watch Silva's reaction. The moment he sees the knife, he doesn't try to block or parry it like you might expect. Instead, he instantly leaps far back to put serious distance between them, and that's not just instinct. This the head of the most feared assassin family in the world we are talking about. A regular knife, even in the hands of someone skilled, wouldn't make him react like that. The reason he jumps back so decisively is because he recognizes the knife. That knife is actually Ben's knife. Benny DeLon was a serial killer who forged a knife every time he kills someone. That's why Silva reacted so decisively. More impressively, he identified the knife's type and even deduced it was poison purely from its shape. But how could he make such a detailed assessment with just a single glance? What's interesting is that Kahlua references it 4 episodes earlier, and he even pointed out that his dad is a big fan of his works. Which explains how Silva was able to recognize the knife in a split second and identify it as poisonous just from its shape. I love how a small detail, mentioned in a completely different context, ends up playing a crucial role later. It's this kind of meticulous foreshadowing and attention to detail that makes Hunter x Hunter one of the greatest anime of all time. But here's another detail that's easy to miss. When Chrollo slashes Silva's arm, you can actually catch faint trails of blood suspended in the air for just a split second. It's blink and you'll miss it, subtle. When Silva gets cut, he immediately forces the poisoned blood out by pressing the wound with his thumb. Then, in a precise move, he pulls a single strand of his own hair and wraps it around his arm to stop the poison from spreading. Now, here's what makes this moment so significant. The Zoldycks are known to be immune to virtually every kind of poison, so the fact that Silva took such urgent countermeasures tells us just how deadly this particular toxin was. Chrollo even point out that just 0.1 milligram of the poison he used could paralyze a whale. The real brilliance, though, is how Silva recognized the knife's nature in a split second, just from its shape, and chose to retreat rather than risk engagement. That decision likely saved his life. Even Zeno steps in to check on him, showing how serious the situation was. And here's an even subtler touch. You can actually see Silva place the strand of hair in his mouth before using it to tie off the wound. It's so quick that you'd miss it at normal speed. And when Zeno was walking towards Chrollo, you can actually see the damage that Silva caused to the floor. And here it comes, one of my favorite details because of how fast it was. I had to watch it in 0.1x speed to catch it. When Zeno realized just how dangerous Chrollo was, he activated his dragon head technique, allowing him to launch long-range attacks. In response, Chrollo used his bandit's secret ability and summoned the Nen cloth he stole from one of the shadow beasts. Zeno struck, and while Chrollo dodged the first attack, he left himself vulnerable for just a split second. Zeno exploited that opening and attacked again. And here's my favorite detail. At first, I thought Chrollo dodged the second strike too, but if you slow it down, you'll see it actually hits him at the waist. It's so subtle you'd miss it at normal speed, but it's these small touches that make this fight so masterfully choreographed. Chrollo's use of the Nen cloth wasn't random. His plan was to capture Zeno and eventually steal his ability, but he quickly realized that trying to pull that off mid-battle would only get him killed. So he cancels the technique and shifts his full focus to evading Zeno's dragon head while keeping a close eye on Silva. It's a rare moment where Chrollo prioritizes survival over strategy, showing just how high the stakes were for him as well. Turns out going up against 2 heads of the Zoldyck family while they're actively hunting you down isn't exactly easy easy even for Chrollo. That's why, while Silva kept Chrollo distracted, Zeno was finally able to catch him using his Dragon Head technique. And here comes my favorite detail. When Zeno caught Chrollo, I originally thought he just went straight for the leg with that diabolical smile, locked it with his arm, and unleashed a barrage of punches. But if you slow it down to 0.1x speed, you'll catch something way cooler. It's actually Chrollo who throws a desperate kick with his left leg. Zeno blocks it with his left arm, then in a blink transitions into a leg lock. Chrollo tries to counter with his other leg, but Zeno pins it down with his own leg and weight, and while holding him down like that, he immediately starts landing a flurry of punches, then signals Silva to move in for the finish. And Silva, without a moment of hesitation, follows up with a massive strikes that cause the whole building to shake. Then comes the twist. Chrollo had actually hired Illumi Zoldyck to assassinate the Tendons, the same people who hired Zeno and Silva. But here's the detail I love. If you look at the aftermath, the rubble, and destruction, you'll notice a massive hole near the ceiling. That was caused by Silva's Nen orbs. And if you watch closely, you'll see some of the debris shifting, right where Zeno and Chrollo were during the fight. That means Silva redirected his attack upward at the very last moment, likely to avoid hitting them directly. It's a subtle but brilliant detail that shows just how precise and in sync the Zoldycks really are. And here's, in my opinion, the best detail in the entire fight. With the Tendons now dead, thanks to Chrollo secretly hiring Illumi, the Zoldycks' contract is void. They're no longer obligated to assassinate Chrollo, but check this out. When Zeno emerges from the rubble, his cloak, the one that says "a kill a day" in Japanese, is torn, and the part with the phrase is cleanly cut off. It's subtle, but symbolically powerful. It visually represents that for the first time in who knows how long, Zeno spent a day without killing his target. It's a quiet, almost poetic detail that perfectly wraps up the complexity of this battle. And with that, we've just broken down one of the best fights in Hunter x Hunter. If you enjoyed the analysis, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. There are plenty more deep dives like this coming your way.